Hello, I'm Nate the effing Great, and what did I just watch? One of the reasons why I watched this web series was because I was here to support my co-host, Victory Bell, credited in this web series, Tori Clark, because I honestly wanted to see, how she was in acting-wise and how she would do with, these web series. And the more I kind of watched this and the more I kind of really wanted to see, what was going on here. And of course, I am talking about the Deadersons. A new web series where comedy meets zombie apocalypse. Meet the Deadersons and follow their family through life after death. The basic plotline is the Deaderson family is just trying to make the best of their undead life after a worldwide zombie apocalypse inspired by the TV shows of the 1950s and 60s. This comedy series takes wholesome and turns it on its head. Very, very good way to describe it, in all honesty. And I'm going to be talking about season 1. So first of all, I have to do a couple things here. Number one, if ever there's a time here that I either say, the undead and confuse them with zombies and stuff like that, and anybody gets offended by that, I apologize. I am so mindset on, anything that's undead, I have to call them zombies. I have to call them, stuff like that. I might even use a Walking Dead phrase, call them walkers. But I don't want anybody to feel offended by me if I'm not pronouncing the name or characters in the right, in their due justice. Which also brings me to the characters. I only have such a short list here of people that I noticed from the series. I do apologize if I do not get your name in this. I really want you guys to have the due justice because you do indeed do a great job contributing to this web series. So if I don't mention your name, I apologize in advance, but know that your work does not go unappreciated. Okay? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. This is going to contain quite a bit of spoilers. This is covering basically the first 12 episodes of season 1. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to kind of try to divide it up in just a bit. I'm trying to get all these episodes together into one review. So let's just try and get right into it. It's first talking about some of the main characters, i.e. the Deadersons. Derek L. Cook, who plays Mr. David Deaderson, I do believe his name was. And honestly, he plays a regular kind of schmo, you would say, but in zombie form, where he's basically trying to, be there for his family, run a business, make sure that everybody is safe. He's a really good, wholesome kind of guy. And I will say this, that Derek L. Cook does an amazing job as playing Mr. Deaderson. So honestly, he definitely is one of those guys that I look at and I think, you know what? I could definitely see, either somebody's dad or my dad being exactly like this. He shows a lot of care and concern, especially when it comes to his family. He really looks out for the business. So there's also there's like a daddy side. There's also like the business side to him. You'll definitely see that throughout the series. And it's very relatable how well he does these things. Like his partner wants to go to be, a part of a bigger organization. And at first, Mr. Deaderson's just like, no, I don't want that to happen. No, I want that to happen. But then he soon realizes that he probably would have done the same thing because he wants to not only help out his family, but also help out others. So, very relatable guy, and definitely worth looking at too. Hopefully I'm saying this name right. Valerie Machum, I believe her name is, who plays Donna Deaderson, or Mrs. Deaderson. Just a great actress. In all honesty, she does indeed bring that kind of warming mother side to this show. She definitely wants there to be peace, but anytime that anybody, comes between her and her family, she will be the mama bear, and she will fight. She will break out the claws. Valerie does a tremendous job playing off as, this kind of fierce but also very kind woman here. So really cool seeing that. And together, Derek and Valerie do a tremendous job. They're basically like what you would imagine any parents to be. Sometimes they can be embarrassing. Sometimes they can be cool. Sometimes they can make you laugh. Sometimes they can make you cry. It's just really well done. So the chemistry between these two are very, very well done. And it's really cool to see that. Moving on to the eldest Deaderson boy, Eric Reed, playing Donnie Deaderson. He is probably the most relatable character that I think I see in the series. He's basically a college boy. He doesn't know what he wants from his wife. He wants to get the hot girl. He wants to be, I guess, a step above the rest. He wants to do just a lot of very interesting things here. Sometimes he does things that are stupid. Sometimes he's very smart. Sometimes he's very arrogant. But all in all, he's one of those guys that you look at and think that you definitely could have a friend that is definitely like Donnie Deaderson. And even if you are, have an older brother, definitely can relate to that because he does torture his younger siblings and does a great job at that. So definitely major props to Eric Reed. Great job, man. One of the main characters with this being Jennifer Linus, I believe the name is spelled. I do apologize again. Who plays Delia Deaderson, who is kind of the main focus when it comes down to it. She is kind of daddy's little girl. She's always trying to find some ways to make things work in her favor. She wants to be the popular one, but she also wants to be very sweet. She's a kind of I don't know if I would say bipolar, but you could definitely see there's like two sides to her. There's kind of this, kind, soft side to it, and then there's kind of like this evil mastermind that goes off to her. It's really kind of cool to see that. And she really does hit it home a lot because a lot of the focus when it comes to the series does indeed go on Delia Deaderson because she's always trying to figure out, she's the very curious one of the entire group. She kind of wants to know, what's on the other side of the wall. What's it like to be amongst the living? Definitely one of the more harder roles to play, and I think Jennifer does a tremendous job at that. So keep up the good work, Jennifer. You are doing just a tremendous job, and you're definitely showing a lot of your talents and a lot of your skills. Definitely great job. Aaron Burleson, I'm hoping I'm saying that name right again. I apologize. Who plays the youngest Deaderson, who is, of course, basically what you would expect a young boy to be like. Who's just, mischievous. He's trying to figure out, things in life. He's trying to torture, his brother and his sister. He'll, drive his mom to the point of her almost tearing out her hair. And, of course, he's kind of, again, hey, the young champ to the dad. He's also trying to figure out girls. It's just really funny just seeing that kind of stuff. He kind of brings a little bit more of the comedy relief when it comes to that, where it's like the childlike wonder, where it's like, oh yeah, I remember as a kid where you kind of look at these things and think, oh, well, I kind of remember seeing my first, girl or seeing my first, tarantula or blah, blah, blah. He's kind of like the curious one out of the entire bunch. So it's really kind of cool to see that childlike wonder again in that. And Aaron does a great job at this. So to all of the Deaderson families, you guys do a tremendous job. So thank you so much for all the entertainment. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys do in season 2, I should say. some of the minor characters, I wouldn't say minor characters, supporting cast. There we go. That's a better way of putting it. Supporting cast, Toby and Cliff. I did not get their names, unfortunately. They are amongst the living, and they are basically trying to figure out, what's going on with the undead, what's it like to be in the undead. But also Toby's trying to figure out where his parents could be. Because here's an interesting thing about this series, is that they made it that when the people become the undead, they have very little knowledge of what their former lives are like. So basically Toby's parents are dead. Well, I think it's Toby/Ash, I believe his name is. Definitely they try to, figure out, where Ash's parents are. Are they even still around? What is it like to be around the, undead? Everything like that. So Ash and Cliff definitely bring a little bit of kind of like the comedy duo they do. There's even an episode where they dress up like women. Wow, you guys really look good in dresses, as I rolled my eyes. This was, these two guys definitely pull it off very well. Harriet, I think it's Harrietta Hatchett, I think is her name. She's one of like the big time, big wigs of the land of the undead. She definitely does her best to, do the right thing as long as it kind of more benefits her in a way. Definitely the actress who plays her does a tremendous job. So Miss Hatchett, you do an amazing job. One other minor character that I will mention before moving on to basically kind of like what the basic plot is for season 1, and that being my co-host, Miss Victory Bell, credited here as Tori Clark. She plays Stacy Slaughter, and she basically plays the best friend of Delia Deaderson, who is kind of almost like a conscience in a way, but also kind of like the what's the phrase? What's the word I'm looking for? Not temptress. She brings a lot of temptation to in Delia's life, where making it a lot more interesting. She kind of says, well, this guy's kind of cute. Well, this guy's even hotter and everything like that. And it's just funny just seeing my co-host in a different limelight. It's just really funny seeing her playing this kind of, I want to use this phrase lightly, ditzy kind of character, where she's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but she's always there for Delia, especially when she needs her the most. And she can be pretty easily manipulated by Delia, as I found out in one of the earlier episodes. I think it was like episode 5, Dawn of the Dead or Dawn of the Living or something like that, where Delia does this like puppy pout deal where she gets the big eyes and the pouty little lip coming up, and Stacy just crumbles in a matter of minutes, where she's like, all right, fine, I'll help you out. Stacy is really there just as kind of the support system for Delia. So spot on you. It's really cool to see that. So a lot of the actors, and I do apologize for not getting everybody out there, but I just want everybody to know, character-wise, you guys do a phenomenal job. You do great, creating these characters, giving them different traits and everything about them. I think the only issue I had with some of the characters were volume-wise, because earlier on, especially, you'll kind of notice that some of the volume-wise, you can't really hear some of the actors. You can't hear what they're saying. Maybe they're not enunciating perfectly. But in all honesty, they sound great otherwise. And it really kind of built up to the final episode of Season 1, being episode 12, the prom fright episode, in which, it's prom night. It's really cool kind of seeing this, and I'm going to get into that right now. Basically, what I would describe Season 1 as a whole, if I could describe it under one word, it's curiosity. Because it seems like everybody wants to know what goes on with the other side. There are the living that want to know what it's like to be a part of the undead. There's the undead who want to know what it's like to be a part of the living again. It's very interesting to see, and the living, they're not exactly as open-minded as the undead are, because they believe that they're like a disease, like they're infectious, that you're not going to